Recently, I've been tempted to order takeout every single night. Between 12-hour-long days writing my next cookbook and being on my feet photographing hundreds of recipes, the last thing I want to do at the end of the day is spend an hour cooking dinner. The irony of me encouraging you to cook more often at home while I myself want to order takeout is not lost on me. Luckily though, I have an incredible 15-minute noodle recipe that is perfect for busy nights like this. It has a delicious but quick garlic chili oil, has so much fresh crunch from vegetables and herbs, and it's really easy to customize. Plus, it is so dang tasty that I guarantee you will never order takeout ever again. Okay, not ever again. You'll probably still order takeout, just less often. To start, we've got some water heating on the stove for our noodles, and in the meantime, we're going to prep our sauce, veggies, and protein. For our sauce, we're gonna make a very quick and dirty garlic chili oil. It's not like a traditional chili oil, but it is very delicious and very easy. We're gonna mince 6 cloves of garlic, and you can certainly do this by hand, but if you wanna stay in that 15-minute limit, a good garlic press or a grater will save you a couple minutes. In addition to our garlic, we've also got about a half cup of dry roasted peanuts. These are unsalted, but if you only have salted, that's also fine, and these just need really a coarse chop. And if you're allergic to peanuts, you could use roasted cashews or roasted almonds. Both of those should be just fine. I'm going to grab some avocado oil. Really though, any neutral flavored oil is fine. Grapeseed oil, vegetable oil, canola oil. And you're also going to grab your tiniest saucepan. If you don't have one of these, why would you? You can just grab any normal-sized adult small saucepan. We're gonna add the oil to our pan over medium heat on the stove. And then once the oil is hot enough, we're going to pour it over the garlic and the peanuts, and we're going to cook the chili oil that way. To test if your oil is hot enough, you want it to be at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have a thermometer, that's okay. You can just add a tiny piece of garlic to the oil, and if it sizzles immediately, your oil is ready to go. While the oil is heating up on the stove, we're gonna add the peanuts and garlic to this little bowl over here. We're also gonna add 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds for a nice nutty crunch. White sesame seeds is what I have today. You can also use black sesame seeds. These are Szechuan chili flakes if you wanna keep this authentically Chinese flavored, but as you'll see, we're gonna be using udon noodles, which are Japanese. This is not really an authentic dish of any kind. I just made it up, all to say that your standard red pepper flakes from the grocery store, which are Italian, also work in this recipe. Did you hear that sizzle? Once you stir the oil into the aromatics, you're gonna let that sit for a minute so that the garlic can cook. And then we will add 3 more ingredients to our sauce. First, some soy sauce or tamari for those deep savory notes. Next, some maple syrup or agave for that little sweetness to balance everything out. And then my favorite ingredient is the Chinese black vinegar. This stuff is so good. It's a aged fermented Chinese vinegar made from rice, sometimes grains, depending on what region you're in China. It's salty, it's sour, it's sweet, it's tangy, and because it's been aged for so long, it's also a little funky and malty. This bottle was like $4 at an Asian market. You can also get it online, and it's gonna stay good in your pantry for basically, I don't know, indefinitely. It's not gonna go bad in like a month. So please go get some black vinegar. It smells so good. Of course, I have to taste it. It's spicy, it's tangy, it's salty, it's got a lot of umami in it. It's so good, and another great thing about this sauce is that it makes a double batch. We're gonna use half of it today with the noodles. You're gonna store the rest in your fridge, and then in 4 days or whatever, if you crave noodles, you can just make this dish again, and it'll be even quicker because your sauce is already prepped for you. Our water still needs a few minutes to come to a boil, so we're gonna prep our vegetables in the meantime. You're gonna grab a small or medium bell pepper, red, orange, yellow, these are all fine, they work great. If you have a green bell pepper, put it down, it's gross. It will ruin this dish. Say no to green bell peppers. Anyhow, I'm gonna grab this red one. We're gonna give it a little slice. We're also gonna use 3 scallions, and you can slice them the normal way, but I like to slice them on a hard bias because they get real sexy. I like to call them sexy scallions. They don't taste differently, but they do look beautiful. So I like to just chop off the first inch or so of the scallions and then work my way up from the bottom to the top. Sounds like our water is almost at a boil, so let's grab our noodles. My favorite way to cook this recipe is with fresh udon noodles. They are fat and chubby and slurpy and bouncy all at the same time. You can get them at East Asian markets. If you don't have access to fresh udon noodles, you can also buy them frozen. And if you don't have those, you can use shelf-stable udon noodles or ramen noodles, also okay. Just don't use anything that's super thin because the sauce won't really stick to it in the same way. The benefit of using fresh udon noodles, in addition to them being so good, is that they are super quick cooking. They take just 2 minutes, and you can use a chopstick or something like that to loosen the noodles from their bundle. While those noodles are cooking, we're going to chop up some fresh cilantro, maybe 3/4 of a cup. You don't need to be too strict about the measurement. I'm just gonna eyeball it today. And I use everything except for the tough, thick stems. Tender stems are great. They are delicious and totally edible. The last thing we need is some protein. I've got some edamame. It works great in this recipe because it works well with the East Asian flavors. It's also already cooked. If you buy frozen edamame, it just needs to defrost, so it's perfect for busy, lazy, quick weeknight meals. If you're not a big fan of edamame, you could use some store-bought tofu nuggets or fried tofu. You could also cook your own tofu, of course, but you won't really make it in that 15-minute window, so I leave the decision up to you. Time to drain these noodles. You're just gonna give them a rinse in cold water to cool them down, and then make sure that you drain the noodles really well so they're no longer wet. Okay, now it's time to assemble everything. You're gonna grab your noodles, add them to a large bowl, and then you're gonna pour your garlic, chili oil, soy sauce mixture on top. But remember, just half of it. You're gonna save the other half for another day, another noodle dish. And then you're going to add on top your edamame, bell peppers, cilantro, scallions, and just toss it really well with some tongs. Make sure to scoop around the bottom of the bowl because the sauce tends to pool down there. This is so good, and as you saw, it was also so quick and easy to make. The black vinegar really shines through. It's salty, it's funky, it's savory, it's sweet, all at the same time. It's a little spicy from the chili flakes. And I know how difficult it can be to get dinner on the table during the week, so I created a short playlist with recipes just like this one right here.